or not. All right, we're good.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Well That Effing Figures. I'm Joe along with Colin, and today we got a very special guest coming in. One of my favorite toy collectors, hunters, and this guy has been very receptive, helping me through things and giving me some hints. And so without further ado, we're going to bring him right in, and here he is, Sentry, the Mad Collector.
What's up, fellas?
Welcome, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. I guess first things first. Congrats on the engagement. First of all,
thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah,
thanks.
Congratulations on that. Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work prepping for that. Yeah. So I'm glad it worked out where you can come on, and we worked the hours out with you, and glad to have you on, man.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me. Thank you for making the time for me.
Oh yes, sir. Anytime. So, how's your week been? First of all, everything good?
So far, so good. For a Monday, the weekend was good. Came off a good hunting high off of last week. So that was also good. I feel like these last couple of hunts that I've been on around here, I haven't really the last 2 or 3. I feel like I'm like, oh, there's not that much out that I'm looking for. There's probably not going to be a lot out in the stores since I've found a lot recently, especially one hunt like a month ago. But never ceases to amaze me, the stuff that seems to be on the shelves right now. So which has been great. But again, I think I kind of found. Now I want to say I'm mostly tapped out until who knows, the end of the year. I'm still going to go out and look, but it was cool finding some of the stuff that I found last week. So that was fun. And just moving along, singing a song.
Yeah. I'm always amazed on what you find in your stores up there, man. I'm like, we get ours way after you get yours, and I'm just amazed on the stuff that you find. So
do you?
That's why I enjoyed your videos so much.
I always find it interesting to see what other folks are finding or not. In their neck of the woods. It always. Distribution fascinates me. What's on the shelves around the world, around the country, fascinates me. So it's always interesting to see what other people say, that you sound off in the comments, or, when I watch, your guys' videos, to see what you guys are finding or not, what you have trouble finding. Things that are peg warming here, are scarce, wherever else, who knows, over by you, who knows? So that stuff always, I don't know. I always find that stuff interesting.
Yeah, I think the only constant is Lando. That's the only constant I see everywhere. I mean, you can go to London and somebody's finding one of those.
That. No shortage of that, or probably any Marvel Legends figures right now. So
I don't know what the deal is with that Lando. Like, is it in his contract? Like, you cannot clearance my action figure out?
I guess it is. Yeah.
It's very weird. I've gone and seen. I mean, if you watch any of my last 20 hunt videos, literally the same Lando at the same Walmart every single time. I don't know, but I promised to maybe take him home for Christmas, to give him a home, so he's not just hanging on the pegs alone. But he's going to be hanging on the pegs alone for Christmas. But I feel very bad for him. So might have to do that. I don't know. Make a custom out of him or something. I have no idea. But it's weird. I don't know what the deal is with that.
Him and Leia. They don't go on clearance at all. I don't know why. I'd love to find out. But So
distribution's weird. I swear it's like they send some things to one part, some things to another part. Like, for instance, like the NECA monster guys, like there's a ton of hunchbacks by me, but then like by Joe there's a ton of mummies. I've seen one mummy and I bought that one mummy. So it is strange how they distribute stuff.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Again, there are things, and that's one of the nice things about the community, and at least connecting with like-minded folks, such as yourselves, where it's like, if you guys are struggling finding something that you need, and I find it, or vice versa, we're all connected, and we could always shoot something down around whether it's your way or my way or whatever, which is cool.
like those.
There's definitely it's been wacky the past, honestly, 3 years, I would say. Maybe right before, I'd probably say even a year leading into the pandemic, and it's just distribution's gotten progressively worse. And of course, you'd expect that with the past few years, but I think the pandemic's just exacerbated what has already kind of been a festering problem as far as getting toys stocked on the shelves. So, and then all the store exclusives, you have to deal with that. It's can be very annoying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like the Halloween Stormtrooper, I never got it here. So T3 sent it.
Oh, really?
T3, EC sent it to me in the mail.
Wow.
I never saw one yet. Like never.
Wow.
I just found the droid Boba Fett a couple weeks ago. That's the first time and only time I've ever seen that. So I don't know what the deal is with that either, but we'll probably get them around March or April.
Yeah, I always say just if you're going out pretty consistently and you don't see something, I would just be patient. Don't go to Sleaze Bay. Don't bother with car or any of that. Just wait.
Yeah,
it'll be there, and then
it'll
wind up being there in surplus. So it'll eventually come. That's one thing I've always that I've observed and seen now over the years and years of doing this. It's just like everything will always hit unless you're just in one of those areas where I feel like that happens on the West Coast. I hear all the time, like, oh man, my Target, is always empty. We never get anything. The shelves are bare here. And I think there's just like an exponentially larger amount of competition, maybe over there, certain parts of the West Coast. I don't know. That's the only part of the country that I've heard that from. But otherwise, eventually it'll all hit. I think as far as like the big box retail stuff, Target and Walmart, mostly Target. I'm blessed with some good Targets around here.
Yeah, you are.
And we get stuff relatively, quickly, I'd say. But there aren't many Wally Worlds. There aren't really, like, I have one that's like 15 minutes away, maybe. Maybe a little more. I don't know, around 15 minutes or so away, and then the next closest one is like 35 minutes away.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we had like our closest one shut down years ago. So Walmarts are that's kind of annoying to get to. So that's why I try to, like, if I can make a little afternoon out of it, day out of it, I'll go to Connecticut. Not too deep into Connecticut, but where you guys normally see me go, and I'll find some stuff there, get myself a donut delight out there and then come home. But Targets are good around here. They're pretty good. Nothing
better than a coffee and a toy hunt.
No, there's not.
And you got to have that froth.
Yeah, you have always. One way or another, you got to get that in. Yep.
Damn right. Yeah. So I guess our first question to you is, like, how did you get back into this, or did you never stop growing up, or did you at some point say, I want to do this again? How did you get back into collecting?
I never got out of it. So it's been something that I've been doing since I was a kid. It started when I was in first grade. It was my first real definitive memory. To this day, I'll never forget. One of my friends, no longer with us, turned around and he had a Raphael Playmates TMNT figure in his hand and a Michelangelo, and he turned around and he showed them to me. He just flashed them to me in class. I'll never forget that. And my mind was blown. And then that was really the beginning of the end for me. And I think, as a kid, I didn't really, I played with my toys, but I definitely collected and was more interested. Even then, I've always had collector's blood in me. Even then, I was more interested in collecting the figures, displaying them. Don't fucking go near them. Don't touch them. Whoever it is that comes over, you're going to scratch it. You're going to scuff it. I've always been insane.
I was the same way.
Magazines, all that. Like, you can't touch my shit. And
I was the same way, dude.
So that hasn't changed either. But so it was Playmates TMNT and Motu is what really got me into it. And then I was born in 82. So those were the two things that really hit for me hard. And then my dad introduced me to the Kenner Classics, or Kenner Classics. Now they're fucking Kenner Classics. Kenner Star Wars.
Right.
and Ghostbusters, which are now Kenner Classics. That toy line was abandoned, but not to digress. So yeah, it was mostly a two-headed monster of Motu and TMNT, and then Star Wars came into play after that. And it's never gone away. I think between gaming and collecting, whether at certain points in my life I did one a little more than the other or a lot more than the other. So I'd have varying interest, I guess, but I never really stopped. At one point, I got into Funko for a very short while. That didn't last, and then I started getting into statues like 10 or 12 years ago, Bowen Designs, and then that eventually led into Sideshow, and now it's my whole collection is Prime One and a few other things. So and statues are definitely something that I enjoy just as much as action figures, which you guys will definitely see once my room is built. But so short answer is it never really went away. Just it's always kind of been here, and I think it's ramped up more, more so the past like 6-7 years. A bit more. My collecting tastes, just like most of us, they change and grow and evolve, and that kind of leads to bigger ideas and bigger thoughts, and then eventually this channel, which I always describe as an extension of the hobby for me. And then that's led us to this insane point that I'm at now.
It's funny you say that when you're younger, don't touch my stuff, because I was kind of like that too, and I see that in my 8-year-old son now. He's like that. You walk around the house and he's got these little displays everywhere with his.
Oh, really?
No,
there you go.
Getting him his own like actual area to display stuff. It's just funny how that.
Yeah, I was the same way, dude. I was the same way. I had my Matchbox cars lined up on the porch.
Yeah, Matchbox too. That's another thing. That's right, Matchbox.
They were lined up in such a way. Yeah, they were lined up in such a way that one day I knew one was missing. I knew which one it was. Somebody stole it. We got it back, but I was pissed off. I was like, I know who took it, and I'm going to his house. And I'm like 8 years old, running down the street trying to get my goddamn Matchbox back. It was funny as hell. I did get it back, but I knew exactly which one it was, just because I had my shit in a certain spot. And don't touch my shit, That's how I was. I was a spoiled only child, so.
Oh yeah.
So don't touch my shit.
Yeah, I used to. I've almost forgot Micro Machines. I love Micro Machines as a kid. Crash Dummies, when those came out, I was in 4th grade. I was
little Mighty Max guys.
Mighty Max. Yes. Yep, Mighty Max.
They even had like Ninja Turtle versions and stuff.
Those were awesome. I would
like to actually get more of now, because I used to have them so much back then.
Yeah, they're around. I actually had some of the original playsets, like mint on card, and I was like, I feel like I didn't wind up holding on to them. This was a few years ago, but I still had some of the play sets and some of the other pieces from that line. But Tycho, which Tycho toys, nobody talks about Tycho anymore. No. But
I remember.
I have some of the Double Dragon stuff. I have a lot of vintage. That's really where my passion lies when it comes to action figures, and because it's nostalgia for me.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like your channel so much, because you get some really nostalgic things that I see, and it just hits me, and I'm like, man, I either had that, wanted that, or am looking for that. So it's one or the other, and that's why I enjoy your hunt so much. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah. So speaking of your room, what's the progress on that new toy room? Because I can't wait to see it.
I had my contractor, the main contractor, come back last week twice. Once by himself to do a walkthrough to revisit what we walked through about 4 months ago. Because during that time I went through the process of getting the permit for my home, which took a little time, and that was time that and I mentioned this, and I put out an update video. Or 2, I think, since the first big one that I put out. I'm trying to break out the whole thing into 3 big phases. So the phase 1 video is out. I put 2 update videos out. Phase 2 will be out once the room is built, and phase 3 will be out once the custom cabinets and shelving is in. So within the past 4 months, I've had a good amount of time while I was waiting for the permit to go through, and that was a process around here, an expensive one. But it was a godsend, because it gave me a chance to just really live in that space downstairs and I spent a lot of time doing laps, walking around, talking to myself, and it changed my mind a lot. And but finally, have come down to exactly what I want to do. And a big part of the challenge for me is that I'm not just collecting action figures; I'm collecting larger scaled statues. Quarter scale, big overscaled quarter scale statues. So to try and make that work in a room that isn't just like one big box. It's like if you guys have watched any of the videos so thus far, it's you walk into like the main part of the room and then you hook a right and it kind of goes around to this little nook area, which is like you have angled, paneled walls and stuff. So for all the shit that I have, I'm just like, man, how is this gonna I need to do what's best for like my space and not even necessarily what I have, and anything that I don't want once the room is built, then off it goes. Because I'm not interested in just like shoving a bunch of shit in, 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, or whatever. And I want to make sure the flow of the room looks right and all of that. So that everything just lines up and makes sense to me. Everything's within scale. And so that stuff matters to me. I think displaying your collection is an art in and of itself. And that is almost more important than the shit that you have.
I agree.
How you display it, and sinking dollars into a good display is worth it, even if that means for you having less stuff, whether it's due to resources or space, whatever the case may be. 10 out of 10, I'll always choose the display over the actual collectibles. Because if you're all the amount of money we're spending on this stuff, what's the point if it's going to be laying on the floor or up, touching the ceiling or in a bin somewhere that you can't display or just like next to a million other fucking things. Like for me, that's just not the way I want to display my stuff. So no matter how big the space is, whether you have a ton, because you're going to fill it up, whether it's 5 square feet, 500 square feet, or 5,000 square feet, you are going to fill up that space. So I would rather have less, no matter what the situation is, and just make sure that I can actually enjoy and appreciate, the art and stuff that I'm collecting. So, made a bunch of changes conceptually. I actually laid down blocks, which helped to really look at like the measurements of the dimensions of what I want to do, the layout, the configuration for the room. Had my contractor come back last week. We walked through it. He loved it. He brought back the electrician from a few months ago. He's in a good spot. So I'm waiting for the actual permit sticker so we can slap on the front of our house. And then the electrician should be back within a week before Turkey Day to start roughing stuff up once he comes back with a revised quote. And then the cabinet maker has to come back anytime from now until whenever to just go over, look at the new changes, revise his quote. And we're hoping to be done before my wedding, which is at the end of February next year. So we'll see. So we'll definitely have updates within the next, couple of months for sure.
Yeah. I guess it's been a challenge with just scheduling and the price of everything right now going sky high. So probably all them things factored in, but at least you had more time to get it where you actually wanted it and walk around and make the changes you wanted to make, like you said.
I needed that time for sure. Yeah. And so it's like if anyone that's doing this, I cannot encourage you anymore to just take your time. Do it once, do it right. There's no rush for anything.
Right.
Just of course you want to get your stuff up and displayed. I could not be any more anxious to do that, but just take your time with this stuff.
Yeah. I'm very impatient with stuff like that, so I got to give it to you on that one.
It's a measure twice, cut once scenario.
I'd be chomping at the bit, man. So we can't wait to see it. Hopefully you'll have like a little walkthrough. Show off that room when you're done. I'm sure you will, and can't wait for that.
Yeah, it was one of the main reasons I started this channel. So it was to be able to document that whole process and share it with everybody, and have it for myself that I can look back on years, down the road, and just watch all the insanity unfold. So.
And then you can see the changes gradually as you go, and that'll be cool. You can't wait to see it.
Yeah, man.
Colin, you got something?
No, I was just taking it all in. I'm a lot like you though. Like I think it really does come down to how you display your collection, because you won't walk into an art museum and see art. stacked on top of each other, and
Yeah, exactly.
that's what I look at everything as. I look at all this stuff, those pieces of artwork, you know. Now when I'm if I'm out like toy hunting and stuff, if I look at something and say I'm not going to display that, there's no point in me buying it. So
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, it's especially with how much stuff costs now.
yeah,
It's good to probably have some sort of idea, some sort of plan. I don't, I try to lay out collector rules for myself. And again, I mean, like, this is just what I do. And so it's like that might stress other people out. It's like, so we all have our own way of going about stuff. But I've over the years, this is what I think. I enjoy it. I enjoy planning stuff out and, having a methodical approach to what I'm doing with this stuff. And it's just important for the well-being of my wallet and eventually, this room that I'm going to have, the new room I'm going to have, because the stuff, as you guys know, it adds up quick, it piles up quick, and you don't want to get to a point where you wake up one day and you look at your collection like, what am I doing? What is this?
right.
So, and I don't, especially like I don't like displays that are, when it comes to statues, I don't like stuff that's too busy. I'm not going to have like 2 levels of stuff or 3 levels of, I just feel like that looks way too busy, especially if they're like essentially on the floor. I don't like that. So like, again, I'm good with less. Everything is going to be like belt high, but with action figures, I think you can get a lot more creative and a lot, it's cool to see like certain areas to look a little uneven or a little busier than others. I think that's cool. A toy room is totally different than like an art gallery style, big statue display. But then there's, designing that, to try to make it look busy, but also make sense, at least that's how I am very crazy. So,
that's good though. You just want it perfect, man. That's awesome. Yep. And it should be it's your little museum, man. It's what you're proud of. So it should be.
This is it, man. This ain't happening again. So, this is it. So I want to get this right.
Doing it right the first time. Exactly. Yeah, man. I appreciate that. That's good. Yeah. Let me see. So, we do that mental health talk with T3 on overgrown third graders. I know you've been very supportive of that.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't know if you had any experience or anything like that with anybody close to you, yourself, anybody that had something going on in their life that they turned to something like this to try to help them get through, like some of us have. Yeah. Have you had anything like that close to you?
I think for myself, personally, I haven't had any one, I think, specific thing or instance or scenario that has driven me to any sort of, I think point of, of course, I think for me in my life, I've had, your standard fare amount of sadness, depression, basic challenges that most people go through, of course, and that could be something different to everybody. And there, of course, have been points in my life where, I've struggled with certain things, and whether it's just myself personally or family members, close people. I had a lot of relatives die. Kind of almost, it felt like all at once when I was a little kid. Things you don't forget. Near misses with my father that came out of nowhere. When I was a younger adult, things that definitely have changed and reshaped my life a certain way. Thankfully, I do have, a good core group of family members that I can always turn to, mostly, and namely my parents, who I don't know what I would do without them. So they've always been my source, my one and true source of everything. As far as comfort and guidance, and still are, to this day. Yeah. And so I've always had that. I've always been fortunate enough to have that, and that's always what I've personally leaned on. So, and there's again, I whether it's mistakes I've made or things that come along in life that you have to deal with, they've always been there for me. So, and I've had and where I've seen things different. In folks that don't necessarily have anyone to turn to, I've always tried to be a source of that for friends and people that need help, whether I know them well or not. So that's why I can appreciate what you guys are doing. And it's great that you guys are sharing your stories and showing support and letting people know that there's you're a sounding board for anyone that needs it. It's and that's why I support you guys doing that, because it's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. Yeah, there's I can't tell you the amount of people I met in this community that are just so good to me, and I try to throw that back at them, and we take care of each other, and it happens so fast, man. It's just like, I think I've made better friends here than I have lately in my personal life. It's unreal, the community. I mean, it's an awesome thing. I'm so happy to be a part of it. I'm having a time of my life as well. So yeah, I can't say enough about you guys. And I know we talk sometimes, we message each other, and you've given me some tips and stuff like that, and I appreciate it. And yeah, man. So it's like everybody's just there for each other, and I haven't come across that anywhere else, and just so appreciative to have that in my life right now. So
yeah, no,
that's why I'm trying to forward it on. Yeah.
That's great, man. I mean, and it's you guys have touched upon it already a good handful of times, and it's something that is, and it's definitely not taboo, but it's something that people don't typically tend to look to open up about, especially in whether it's this community or other communities. So it's good that you guys are providing that outlet for others.
Yeah, and we owe it all a lot to the overgrown third graders and T3 and the gang, and
they do a great job. T3's a great guy.
Yeah, they do. He is. Yeah. So yeah. So on a lighter note, I know Colin wanted to ask you about Legions Con. So we saw the videos. I saw the videos. It looked awesome.
It was.
Tell us a little bit about that. I'm sure you enjoyed yourself. I could tell.
I did. I was a pig in shit there. It's a show that I've wanted to go to for, I mean, ever since they started doing it. They finally did it, in my neck of the woods around here, fairly close to my home. So, which was so convenient, because I feel like there aren't any outside of NYCC. Like there aren't any real good, and well, ToyCon 2 is in Wayne, New Jersey, but I always have to travel far and wide to go to a good show.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be able to, I'm like, wow, I'm like driving to, for me, what is the biggest show of the year. And then I could just drive home and then drive back. Although I would have been very happy to even just stay overnight and hang out with guys and stuff. So, but it was great, man. I've been collecting Mythic Legions, essentially since their first Kickstarter, which was 2015 maybe, or something like that. So at least, a good 6 or 7 years. First Legions Con, first 2-day Legions Con. So I think this was their first 2-day event for it. And it was incredible. I was overwhelmed just being there, seeing them. That's my stuff. Like, that to me is the ultimate. Some guys, like, I see Legacy of Nerd in here. So some people love Power Rangers, some people love Marvel, and I love those things too, but my tippy top is high fantasy, and this is, it's my favorite modern toy line. I've said it before. So this is like the pinnacle of the year for me, to be able to go to that, really, of my collecting career, I can say, to see all that stuff in one room. And it wasn't the biggest room in the world, but it felt a million miles long because of all the incredible stuff packed into, every nook and cranny of that, every inch of that space.
Awesome.
So I had a really good time. And on top of that, it's the community, the cabal there, that really, and the horsemen, the community that they've created is, to me, again, something I say all the time, it's the best in toys. It's the most genuine, heartfelt community. You have, Four Horsemen Studio, you have these guys that are making stuff that they're making, for themselves, and for, I think what they have going for them too is, like, it's a very niche market. So you don't have something that's like so widely, insanely mass produced. And so you can create something that's like what they've done, where you get every bang for your buck. Their price points haven't changed over the course of time that the toy line's been in its life cycle, which is pretty amazing. So they've always been a little more expensive, but I mean, look what you're getting. And it's the most highly customizable toy line you could possibly ask for. Most of the stuff I bought 99% of the stuff I bought were all customs.
Okay.
So the possibilities are endless. So to just be in a room with a bunch of really good people, very talented people, and all of that cool stuff, I highly recommend anyone to go to, even if you're not into it's a great show. It's a great experience. You're going to be around good people, and some really cool stuff, and there's a big vintage vibe there for sure as well. So it was a great time.
I saw some Legions Con exclusives people were posting. So how do you now, for you personally, like how do you go about collecting your Mythic Legions? Like, do you pick like a certain faction or whatever, or
That's a good question.
do you just collect what you like, or
when it comes to fantasy, I kind of love everything, but there are things that I do love more than others. So I stick mostly with all the peck races. So I love my dwarves. I love my my goblins, and my undead. So it's for me, it's mostly dwarves and skeletons. And this just happened to be, which this was also what really helped make the con, like, just push it way over the top for me, is that every booth I went to was just like heavy dwarves and skeletons. So, and that one booth, if you guys saw, Lovecraftian Customs, who had the really cool rock wall diorama.
I was just going to bring that up.
All skeletons. I'm like, you have to be kidding me.
Yeah. And so, I know you said you couldn't fit that in your car, but I was crushing on that thing too, man. I was like, wow, that thing.
You wanted $250 for it. I mean, that's nothing.
Wow, that's not bad for that. I thought it was going to be more like $750, to be honest with you.
I mean, a custom figure can range anywhere from like $100 to like $300 one. So he wanted $250 for the whole damn thing. So, it was cool. Very, very cool. And so they had the stuff that I like. So yeah, for me, it's dwarves and skeletons are my thing. I collect humans the absolute least. Human fighters, and I've grabbed some of their gladiators recently. They've come out with some pretty cool stuff, but gladiators and knights, that's I would say falls in the least of my interest when it comes to this stuff. I'm more of a humanoids and monsters guy. So
I just saw my first Legions in person the other day at Second Chance. I've never seen them anywhere else. That's the first place I've ever seen them.
Yeah, I mean, normally they're online. You got to go to Source Horseman. Or Big Bad Toy Store has them.
Yeah, just to have one in my hand at Second Chance, I was like, wow, I can't believe I finally found these. But I'm with you. Like, the skeletons look pretty awesome from what I've seen. But that rock wall, man, I was like, wow, I would have had to strap that bitch to the roof. Get it home somehow. I don't know, man, but that thing was pretty awesome.
That said that, yeah. The rock wall, and then the other diorama guys that had the forest and the arena and the bridge, and the treetop castle ruins piece. Next level stuff, and those guys, beastie. Humans suck. I agree on a lot of different levels, but
right, exactly.
But so those guys, Duarte Studios, those guys make dios for the Horsemen, and I'm gonna have. I've been chatting with one of them since the con, and we're talking about things that we're gonna do, because I'm gonna have a Mythic Legions dio display set up in the main room. And we've just been talking about ideas and concepts and stuff. So I'm very excited for that. That to me, like, the dioramas there, just mind blowing.
Yeah, they are pretty. They are pretty
unique. Head spin. Yeah,
I know how you felt there though, because like last year at ICCC, I'm a big Star Wars guy, and I was in heaven. So like you were saying, you were in heaven there. It's like, man, walking through that place, and
that's a Star Wars con. Yeah.
And then when they shut the con down, the hotel was like a big store. Like, everybody popped their tables up and were selling shit at night. So the party went on until past midnight. It was awesome every day.
Yeah.
So I was like a kid in a candy store, man. Like,
yeah,
I'm glad I drove there and not flew, because I would never have been able to get all that shit home on a plane. I had the time. It was awesome. I had a 12-hour ride, but it was well worth it. And we're gonna go again and meet up with a bunch of the guys, and I can't wait. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never been to that con, but it looks really good. They do the pop-up thing too at Toylanta, where they have like this whiteboard in the front lobby, and they just write down room, like G.I. Joe, like Joe's room 209, Motu room 306, and so that was actually my first experience doing that. They extended it out once the showroom floor closed for the day at Toylanta. Then in a separate room, they had some like makeshift, people just kind of set up shop there for a bit, and then people, like, late night, it was hotel rooms.
It was that too. It was a shit show. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's cool.
That sounds like a good time though.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Eventually, I'd like to do some travel more to some of these big shows because, like you said, most of them are so far away from me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Toylanta.
If you have the means to do it, it's fun. Yeah, that's the one I would love to go to. That's the one I'm thinking about. That. Yeah.
If you have one show that you need to go to a year, just do that.
How about the one in Ohio? Have you been to that one?
Which one?
Is it Toy Haya? I don't even know what they call it, to be honest with you.
Oh, I know. No, I have not been to that one.
No, I forget what they call it. But
yeah. No, I haven't been to that. No.
Yeah. No. I've heard good things about that one too, but the one in Toylanta seems like the one to go to. I'd love to go down there and check that out.
JB just brought up the Cosmic Legions. What are you going to get into those, or is that not really your thing?
Yeah, yeah. I have a couple that I pre-ordered most of the first wave of that. I'm not going to go. Well, I saw them for the first time in person at Legions Con. They look better than I thought they were going to look. So we'll see. But overall, I would say generally, I'm not going to go as deep at all as I am with Mythic Legions. But those look great. And Savage Crucible is another toy line coming out similar to Mythic Legions. That looks great. They debuted their stuff. I have a bunch of coverage on that on my YouTube channel if you watch the Toylanta video, and even on my Instagram I have some reels. One in particular where they're coming out with a book for Savage Crucible. They have all of this lore already lined up. They've been showing prototype. They showed the first prototypes at Toylanta as well. There's a pretty big Cabal presence at Toylanta, which was great, and that's where I wound up. That sunk all my time and money. But they're coming out with something which is another medieval fantasy toy line, essentially, which looks really, really good. That I will definitely be going heavy into, and that can just mix right in with what I have now. So it's an exciting time. Lord of the Rings is getting a lot of attention in the statue world. So for a guy like me, it's a great time to be, a fantasy collector. Which
you're in heaven now.
I haven't been able to say that ever. Not never ever. I almost feel like a DC collector, right now. It's all these options and all the attention.
Kind of how I feel with Ninja Turtles right now. There's so many options, like
Turtles too. Yeah.
They're everywhere. I mean,
I think with
by
NECA,
themselves is just
their cartoon line. Their cartoon line, I think, blew it all up.
Yeah.
And what they're doing with the monsters, I love that myself.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
The Mirage stuff is coming back. Oh man. Now my son is getting into it, so we're like kind of working on his little collection, which
that's cool.
And because, like I said, of how he is, and he's a good kid, so I don't mind doing it because I know he's not just gonna trash them and So he's gonna have
it's okay to at least he'll be filling his mind with that and not other stuff.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Keep him out of trouble. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, I was excited when he took interest into it. I was like, finally.
Yeah.
I don't push him into anything. I let him be him. I let him do him.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's important.
Yeah, enjoy that.
Started, pulling my NECA Turtles off the shelf, I was like, hold on.
No,
it's funny.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, it's funny how the stuff gets, I think naturally just passes down, from generation to generation almost. My father was into model cars and trains, and he had a whole big train dio, in my house when we were growing up. He still collects coins to this day. My cousin and my uncle, his one of his brothers, my dad's brothers, they got me into, sports cards as a kid. And then I, in the very early 90s, Impel Series 1, Marvel Universe Series 1 came out. And that got me heavy into between that and the Toy Biz line. And that's really all I collect for Marvel now. Are, the graded cards, which I've been collecting for years and years and years. Luckily got in on that before it kind of came back and boomed a little bit. Marvel cards and as a kid, sports cards, basketball cards, baseball cards. I got into all of that, and that was
Yeah.
really a lot of it was because of my family.
Mhm.
That were doing it. I remember when my cousin, like my uncle bought my cousin like a Moses Malone rookie card, and it was like it was, I think it was for like, I don't know what, he was graduating high school or whatever it was, but it was like $700, something ridiculous amount of money that he definitely did not get back right now. But I remember he got that, and I was just like, I loved the idea of the exclusivity and the rarity of something. Like I just got into what they were doing, and it just
Yeah.
kind of naturally translated over
Yeah.
into what I'm doing now. So
Yeah. So is there anything like other, like I know I mountain bike, believe it or not, and Colin, you like snowboarding, correct?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you like? What else are you into? What makes you tick besides toy collecting and the hunting and all the nostalgia? Is there anything that you do besides that you
yeah, I
enjoy?
do. I mean, I'm a pretty big sports fan, and
Hmm.
longtime retired athlete. So um, I enjoy getting outside hiking. I have some pretty beautiful grounds around me,
Hmm.
that I'm blessed with. So I take advantage of that
Yeah.
over in my town, literally daily.
Hmm.
So I do a lot of hiking and running, a lot of
Hmm.
weightlifting, and I'm a big sports guy. So I love my
Yeah.
Yankees, Knicks, Rangers, Giants. Um, so yeah, so I'm watching sport. If I'm not doing this stuff, I'm watching sports. I'm
Yeah.
outside. I'm at the gym, um, and uh, and I do computer stuff for a living. It's kind of like my hobby that I turned into a career, I guess. And
Hmm.
so I enjoy doing tech stuff like on my own. Whether it's like learning a new programming language or
Yeah.
scripting language, and obviously helps out with my job as well. But I just take an interest in those things.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of a techie in that sense, when it comes to software development and IT infrastructure. I enjoy reading up on that stuff and doing, mocking up my own, labs here at home,
Yeah.
in my spare time. So I enjoy that stuff
Yeah.
too.
Cool, man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
enjoy your toy walks through the park.
Thanks. Yeah, that's
That's
what I
a
was talking about. Yeah, those
yeah,
are, yeah.
pretty unique idea to do that. It's pretty cool. You get out, get some air, and still get to talk about it. I thought that was really cool when you first started that. And I watch them all, so
Thanks, man.
that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's
Yeah,
fun. That's fun to me. It's like I don't
yeah,
that's my channel has to be enjoyable for me. And that's
yeah.
it. It doesn't matter, if YouTube doesn't want to push it out as much as a toy hunting video. Yeah, I don't. It just doesn't matter. Those are
Hmm.
the videos that, I enjoy doing. That I enjoy doing toy hunts. If I don't
Hmm.
enjoy doing a toy hunt for a week, like I won't do it. If I feel like
Yeah,
doing a, if I feel like throwing my phone in front of my face and doing a toy walk, I'll do that.
yeah.
And so I think for me that's I think just help my channel create its own sort of individuality as much
Hmm.
as you possibly could. It's just
Hmm.
like I couldn't suggest anything more to anyone that ever asks, because I don't, not that I know what I'm doing, and I always say that first. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I just do what I want to do, and that's the only piece of advice I could give anybody. Do what you want to do,
Yeah.
and just find ways to make your content better. And making it better to me does not mean changing who you are and what you're set out to do and what you're currently doing. It means making whatever you're currently doing the best it can possibly be.
Hmm.
If that makes sense. It
Oh,
doesn't mean like trying
you've
to be
told me
like
that
someone
multiple
else and do
times. Yeah.
something. Yeah, no. I mean,
Yeah.
because what's the point of doing this if you're not going to have fun, if you're not going to be
Right.
you?
Right.
It's I think a lot of, if you're going to go out and just try to be like someone else, it's those, if you even want to call them short-term successes, I think breeds long-term failure as far as your
Hmm.
channel goes, and
Hmm.
real engagement, because you're not getting real engagement. You're just
Hmm.
trying to get cheap pops in the moment, and
Right.
maybe that'll help you short-term, but again, long-term, to me, you're not creating an identity. You're not generating any sort of real respect for what you're doing.
Hmm.
So that's why I think it is important, even if it takes longer, just to build whatever you're trying to build. Just have fun with it, and try not to overthink it.
Yeah.
I'm happy you say that because everybody's got the right. You got to do this, or you got to be on a schedule, or this, that. You're gonna kill yourself trying to
I don't
make
schedule
YouTube
shit.
happy. Yeah,
So
exactly.
there's your data point. I've never had, I don't. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't seem to matter, for my. I don't know, I'm saying, I'm not trying to say like, hey, look at me, but as far as my general performance goes for each video, I don't schedule anything, and it has not. I won't look at one of my videos and be like, oh, well, I put that out at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, and that did way worse than my Sunday video. If I keep track of all of this stuff, the entire body of work, I could not prove to you one way or another that my videos do better on this day. My videos do better because people are expecting it. What you need to look at is the actual numbers, or the numbers. So YouTube recommended. If you go into YouTube Studio, you will see the only thing that really matters. And I've had this conversation with my buddy, Man Cave. We just joke about it, and because it's just you can't control what YouTube does with your channel.
Right.
So if you look at the one important, I think, if you're going to look at some sort of determining factor or thing, indicator as to performance, it's under YouTube recommended. You have a couple of different things. Let me actually check at my phone right now. What the fuck is this thing called? It's called video, but there are like three different. It breaks out into different criteria. So YouTube recommendations overall, and then under that you have YouTube Home and YouTube Next. If you're YouTube Home, that's what really pushes it. That's when YouTube's going to push you, that's when you'll see whatever range that you have based on whatever you've been doing. But if you're in like the gray on that YouTube Home, that means YouTube's just not pushing you. And there's only so much you could do about that. And so no matter how well you're doing, or you think you're doing for a certain amount of time, that's always gonna fluctuate. So it's nothing to get frustrated over or be upset over. It's just like it is what it is. And which is why the most important thing to me is the actual feedback and engagement you get in your comment section. And if you put out a video and watch your stuff, go back and watch your own tape and say, okay, I could have done that better. Or, oh, okay, I could have done, it's like maybe I did ramble here too. What am I doing here? Like, what did I say here? Like, is this too much? Is there a point to what I just did? It's like, I think so, like finding ways to, and it's not easy, I don't think, but you just have to, be critical of yourself, just be honest with yourself. Ask yourself what you're doing, what the point of these videos are, like what the point of each part or segment in your video is, and see how you can make it better. It's like, okay, I kind of said a pile of shit here, and it's like people are probably going to just click off and just do something else. It's like, well, how can I get my point across better or quicker, faster? Do I seem uncomfortable here? Do I maybe just omit? You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that you can do to help yourself, but it's still not going to, and that'll help you for sure long term, but YouTube's always going to put you in the doghouse one way or another a little bit here and there. And that's something I've noticed over my 2-year span at this point, I guess, year and change. Yeah, well, about 2 years now of actually doing it. I didn't really do much with my channel the first like 6 months, but yeah. So it's like, that's one thing I noticed is that the YouTube recommendations, the home screen, when YouTube likes you, you'll see a good number there. If they don't, for whatever reason, that won't be good. And that's I think what mostly drives what you see as far as views go. At least that's in my experience. And I don't think that's based on, expectation. And this is just my opinion. I don't think it has anything to do with coming from a guy that has zero schedule. I don't think that matters, because I think if your stuff is good, people will find it eventually and click on it, and they'll watch it.
Right.
And you don't have to tell someone. Everyone has a formality. It's like, and even at the end, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Yeah, you could stand on your head,
right,
and say, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and hee ho hum, and just click on the button. That is going to make people run away faster. In my opinion. You don't have to. If someone wants to keep watching you, they'll either continue to come back and watch you, whether they sub or not, or they'll click on the stupid button. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to tell them more than once.
Right. Right.
And you don't have to like try to, and that's just my opinion. If you do a giveaway, do it because you want to give back to the loyal folks that come and watch you daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. Do it because you want to actually give, not because you want to receive. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? Like and those sort of things matter to the people that watch. And I think that's a good way that's how I like to at least go about, my channel and try to grow it. Definitely. In just an organic way. But I don't think like the schedule things. If someone's trying to sit there and tell you do X, Y, and Z,
right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really
feel like you're gonna kill yourself trying to, make some computer program happy.
I mean, Don't be an algo chaser. Just
right.
Do what you want to do, and some stuff may never take off. Who knows? I don't know. But as long as you're proud of what you're putting out and your audience likes what you're doing, and T3 said it, consistency is a key, and that's about it. Sure. If you have the content, put it out. If you don't, in my opinion, don't force it.
Right.
If there's nothing there, that just don't put it out. And then you can't sit there and look back and say, oh, why didn't that do well? Well, it's like you put out, who knows what that was, just to get a video out. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can look at certain daily content creators that they don't get a ton of views per video. They're only maybe a very small percentage of channels that put out daily, especially for what we're doing too. It's like, how much of this stuff can you do? Like, can you shove into like people's faces when so many people are that's the way I look at it. Like, it's less is more. And it's like, so if I put out something, I want to believe that people are going to be like, okay. I was like, oh shit, this guy's going to put out something. I'm used to watching something good here. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. Where it's like, I want to create something where it's like, even if I'm doing something once a week or once every 15 days or whatever the case may be, the engagement that I get on that one video to me would like to think would be better than every single day where it's like, okay, this is more of the same. It's Target again, it's Walmart again, it's Target again.
You can only go there so many times, man.
Right.
So I don't. And to me, that's more like. And again, everyone gets to wherever they go their own way. This is just my way of thinking. I just I like to try and at least create the story that's happening for each one of my hunts, because that's what I'm doing. I'm actually going out trying to find something that I want for my collection, not just doing it just to do it. Or if there are times where there isn't much, there's usually always something, but I may just want to get out, and I'll say that, I just want to get out, see what's there. Maybe something surprises me, maybe it doesn't, but don't ever feel like you have to do stuff. I mean, this is not a job, to some folks it's a job. I don't know, maybe it is to you guys, or you're trying to make it one. I don't know. I can't tell you that, but if it's not supposed to be a job for you, then don't make it one. Just have fun and leave it at that. And there's only so much you can help. The one thing you can help is, the quality of content that you put out and your, the authenticity of it. I think that's it.
Yeah. Like my very first video, I didn't buy shit. I just wanted to get out of the house, and
I don't think you have to buy anything. People are going to want to watch you at some point.
Yeah. And I mean, it was my first one. There was nothing there, so.
If you're gonna be, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be like a jackass running around trying to be the first one to find everything. Good luck. Good luck with your marriage. Good luck with the rest of your life.
Exactly.
It's unsustainable. I don't. So it's one thing if you're trying to get out there because you really want to make sure you get something, or you heard something is somewhere, you want to try to go get it, and that's fun and great. But to do it, to think it's always going to, and it doesn't always equate into views, finding something first, again, there are some folks, sure, that just want to see stuff on the shelves. There are plenty of flippers and scalpers that watch these videos, for sure, no doubt. And they don't care about anything other than just show me. And then there's some folks too that just don't care, for the hoopla and the fanfare, and they don't want to hear, me sitting in my car yelling like an idiot or whatever whatever I'm doing. They just get to the point. Sure. But And if that's what you're doing, then great. But if you're doing it because you think that's what you have to do, you don't have to do anything. You should just do what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The one thing that sticks out in my head, like I remember when the Batista Ultimate came out, everybody was going crazy looking for it. They couldn't get it. It had the shelf deal going on and all that. They couldn't sell it. People were going nuts for it. Now it's everywhere. Well, it was everywhere. I don't know if it's still everywhere, but you don't have to be the first one to get it. It's gonna be there. They're making millions of these things. So
that patience pays off, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
That's like those gargoyle figures at Haulathon time. Everybody was freaking out about them, and now I see them sitting every time I walk into a store. It's gotta be
like the Mona. Like everybody was going crazy over the Mona, and I'm like, I don't collect that for one, but it's everywhere now. I see it every time I go into a store. I still see it. So it's gonna be there. They're not making 10 of them.
No, I mean all the stuff. It'll be there. I see. Rogue Demon Collects asked if, where was it? Oh, retro starting lineup figures. Yeah, I had those too. I had those too. I think I still have some of them at my parents' house. I think I've got like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. I've got like all those. Still never touched those.
I saw What's Poppin' just picked up a bunch of them in his last video or one before that or so.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, them things, they bring back some memories too. We used to collect not a whole ton of those, but here and there. I haven't done that lately either, but they were cool.
Yeah, they were fun. I mean, that's not anything I'm getting back into now.
No,
but those I did love those as a kid.
Yeah, for sure. They were something else. They were well, they're McFarlane, so that says enough. They have the detail in them, so good figures.
Yeah, McFarlane sculpts, they hold over time. They hold up over time.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, before we get out of here, you got to show us your stuff from Monster Con.
Oh, you'll have to tune in on Wednesday for that.
I tried.
Oh, you have to tune in on Wednesday for that. You got a sneak peek of it, but I'm dropping that video on Wednesday. So
cool.
Yeah, we had a good time. It was a good time. We're going to talk about that tomorrow night on the other podcast, Talking Nerdy at 7. So
nice.
Me and my buddy Scott, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But you'll see what I got at the end of the video on Wednesday.
That sounds good to me. Yeah, that's going to be a good video. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. I guess we'll let you get out of here because I know you got something else going on after this. I don't want to hold you up too long.
No, it's all good.
But you got anything else, EC?
No, I wanted to thank everybody that came and watched in the chat. They were pretty active, and we didn't get to interact with them a lot this episode, but
talk too much. So.
I was reading their stuff, and I appreciate them coming to watch.
Yep. So so thanks for coming on here and giving us your time. We really appreciate it. Like I said, you're one of my favorites. You've given me some advice. I appreciate it all, and I'm glad we were able to work this out where you were able to come on, and thanks for being so open about everything, man. So
yeah, man. Thank you for having me. Continue to do what you guys do. Just have fun with it. I'm enjoying your channels and
thanks, man.
And the show. So just keep having fun with it, and thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll have you again sometime when that room gets done, maybe, or something like that. We check that room
definitely.
out.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because very like-minded. So.
Yeah.
Wait to see that.
Yeah, I think we all like the nostalgia.
Yeah.
So you have anything you want to plug before you get out of here?
I don't know. Not really. You got the YouTube channel and the Instagram page, and that is all I got to say about that. Thank you guys again for having me, and
thank you.
Looking forward to doing it again.
Good. Yeah. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the support, and thanks for coming on, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You got it.
All right. So that's it for tonight. We're going to see you guys on Sunday at the normal time. I kind of screwed this up for last week with the con and all that. So we're going to go back to the normal 9 a.m. every Sunday, have some coffee, talk some shit. So join us for that. Check out EC on YouTube at EC Collecting. Check him out on Instagram. Check me out on YouTube on JMC_collects and on Instagram as well. You got anything else?
No, we're good.
That's it. And then check out Overgrown Third Graders. If you have not, everything's a whirlwind. So was it last Thursday we did that?
No, that was two.
So it was the Thursday before last we did the second round table on mental health. If anyone has not checked that out, please do. Overgrown Third Graders. Check it out. Yeah, it might help one person. That's what we're out to do, at least one person. Anything else? Any closing words? All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for watching, man, and have fun out there on the hunt. See you later, guys.
See you guys later.